You won't believe what happens next. Stephen, his uncle, his big car, and even the door are all in a total frenzy. As luck would have it, he accidentally knocked over a beer bottle that rolled away like a soccer ball towards the irrigation switch in the back. Water sprayed like a fountain from the pipe as Stephen entered the backyard, glancing around and thinking, everyone's fine. Just then, a loud bang. Bob's foot crashed through the trampoline, shattering the piece. The toppled blocks collapsed like tiny grenades, scattering everywhere, while the shattered glass from the wine cups joined the chaos. Howard came over to greet Stephen, but oops. He stepped right on the shards. Howard's funeral was the moment that really sold Stephen on Iris warnings. He kept scouring through the data compiled by Iris, playing the detective on the horrifying discovery. Soon, they found Tianjin hotel survivors from that night were all having bizarre accidents. Even scarier was that their order of death seemed like a copy of Iris' prediction. The disaster that should have claimed hundreds of lives was averted by Iris' intuition and actions, but death wasn't done yet. Everyone, including Iris, fell prey, the last one standing. Though, he had prepared for it all. For 70 years, he fought death like it was a high-speed train, but when he recounted the stories yesterday, people started to shrug it off. And some descendants of the survivors miraculously showed up, like a superhero family drama. Stephen explained that according to Iris' logic, death would progress through the family like a racing lineup based on age. First up was Uncle Howard, then came his kids, making it feel like an endless relay race. This sparked a fierce response, with Julia acting like a questioning lawyer, accusing him of being cold-blooded and arrogant. She even questioned his reasoning, exclaiming, "Are you creating panic?" Yet Stephen stood firm, continuing his analysis. He realized things were more complicated than imagined. Daring warned him not to bring Iris' madness into life. Trust quickly turned to skepticism, and Stephen's prophecies fell apart as the night progressed after Vite closed down. Eric stayed behind, ditching music for a chance to spark some life into the silent shop. He expertly grabbed the disinfectant, giving everything a scrub, making each surface sparkle like it was brand new. Next, he flipped on the overhead fan, which woke to life with a rhythmic clunk sounding like a dog barking a warning. A hint of danger hung in the air, as Eric kissed his parents' plaque on his arm, feeling like he was stumbling into a weird spell. His emotions began to crumble as the tide of grief hit him, but suddenly, the sound system started booming. The angry ghost doll triggered chaos, crashing down like a scene from a horror flick, scattering pens like they had souls escaping. Tiny chain reactions spun out of control. Eric stood, watching the chair slide, as if inviting him to tangle. He didn't realize that the chain above had loosened, and in an instant, it swung down with a pop, like a magician snatching his nose ring. He panicked, trembling hands trying to loosen the chain, but it only seemed to tighten with every effort. He grabbed the chair, ready to fight back, trying to buy himself a moment of time, but the chain wrapped tighter like it was playing a prank. In a frenzied struggle, he kicked the lamp over, sending bulbs crashing to the ground, igniting sparks with the disinfectant. Flames erupted in an instant, and Eric thought little of it, tugging at the counter behind him as if it would buy him a second. However, the glass beneath him cracked with a pop, breaking like a fallen dancer mid-performance. At that moment, he watched in horror as the fire spread like a wild stallion, nearly grazing his nose ring. Eric finally trembled his way to unbuckling the metal clasp, escaping the edge of death. But what happened the next morning? Stephen couldn't shake off his worry for Eric, so he grabbed his brother Charlie and sprinted to the Pestilence Temple to check things out. But not long after, Charlie received news like a ping-pong ball that the Pestilence Temple had caught fire last night. Stephen's face turned pale, exclaiming, "What about Eric?" Suddenly, a figure dashed onto the road, slamming on the brakes and hitting an obstacle, yet Eric emerged unscathed. They thought Eric had been engulfed by flames, but he had donned a leather jacket, saving himself like a knight from a fire. Plus, Eric jokingly showed off his burn marks on his arm, teasing himself about being so cool. But Stephen suddenly grew serious and warned, "Careful. Surviving last night doesn't mean you're safe." He pointed at the repair machine, anxiously asking, "Is it gonna start moving on its own?" Even annoying kids around could become unexpected victims, and he couldn't predict the outcome since death follows its own bizarre rules. Death was like an invisible assassin, lurking, ready to strike at any time with its superpower. Stephen advised Eric to stay away from the trash truck, but instead, Eric gravitated toward it, defying the very conspiracy theory. Unfortunately, his warnings were drowned out in mockery until the next second death arrived. Julia faced an unexpected calamity, getting snagged by the junk truck, as the driver leisurely jarred to the music. Some drivers were totally oblivious to the cries outside while the hydraulic plate at the back of the truck steadily began its descent. The massive metal panel lowered slowly, cornering Julia, who panicked like a rabbit caught in headlights. She fought desperately, but amidst the grime of the trash heap, it looked like there was no escape route.